Okay, Maria, you're our lucky first girl to embark on the Q&A. So how are you feeling? Are you okay? Do you want to get those nerves out?
I'm actually feeling great, Laura. It's such an honor to be joining you on this stage. I'm an event host myself, and Miss Laura Lehman is one of my idols. This is such a dream come true. Thank you so much.
Well, maybe next year we'll see you hosting Miss World Philippines as well. All right, so your question is about your Beauty with a Purpose project. Now, Maria, how has the 21st century scale of collaboration helped you in realizing the vision of Polo, or your People's On-the-Go Livelihood Organization?
Well, for those of you who don't know or are not so familiar, Polo, or the People's On-the-Go Livelihood Organization, is actually a collaboration between me, the Fashion Institute of Design and Arts in Cebu, and the organization that is known as Binibining Cebu Charities Incorporated. As a beauty queen, I always seeked to help other people by using what I love to make a difference in the world. And my job as a model, with my relationships built and the friendships that I've built with designers and artists all over Cebu, that is the melting pot and creative capital of the Philippines, allowed me to inspire them to collaborate with each other and teach local communities basic skills in sewing, pattern making, cutting hair, and even tie-dyeing and lace making. What makes it so meaningful to me is the fact that I get to use the things that I love, fashion, and all of these things, and contribute to the world by giving sustainable value. Our village actually currently makes sustainable materials that you can use when you go grocery shopping. And the youth is highly encouraged and even given incentives when they are able to convert businesses to sustainable practices. And I actually have some samples that I brought with me during my Beauty with a Purpose presentation. Well, not here, but maybe I can show you backstage. And I had a conversation actually with your fellow Miss World, Miss Caterina Rodriguez. I showed her one of the diapers that we made in the village, made fully out of upcycled flour sacks and sometimes burlap. I know this is a long conversation, but I'm hoping that you're going to ask me about it backstage. I think with an organization like Miss World, I hope to take this fight to greater heights and to really make a bigger impact on the world by creating more exceptionally empowered Filipinas. Thank you.
All right, well, we're all very much looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Maria Higante. Next up, we have candidate number 22, Miss San Juan City, Cassandra Chan. Hi, Cassandra. Okay, so I know you're a ballerina. I think I've seen some of your Instagram videos. I'm kind of a stalker. Oh, you have a mic. Okay, thank you very much to the lovely gentleman over here. And you won Best in Talent, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so in addition to being a ballerina, you also advocate for cerebral palsy and epilepsy awareness, is that correct? So Cassandra, how can we make the community more understanding and more inclusive of our differently abled children with cerebral palsy and epilepsy?
That is a great question, Laura. I think the best thing that we can do is just talk about it. I feel like we as beauty queens have a platform and we have a voice. And that voice is something to use for the Cerebral Palsy and Epilepsy Family Awareness Group, or the CEPHAS GPH. I actually met them around 2 years ago. And it's something that's very great because, as you know, I'm a ballerina and a ballet teacher as well. And I love enjoying myself on stage and performing on stage. And to have the Cerebral Palsy and Epilepsy Family Awareness Group, just to meet the families, just to meet the children, is a very heartwarming thing. And I hope to bring awareness to that and to bring light and shed awareness on 1.6 million children with cerebral palsy in the Philippines. And I think that's something that I could do right now here on the Miss World Philippines stage. Thank you.
All right, a big round of applause for Miss Cassandra Chan. Next up, we have candidate number 36, Miss Bulacan, Bulacan, Lady Justine Santos. Hi, Lady. Do you go by Lady?
Hi, Miss Laura. Yes, you can call me Lady.
Oh, I love that name, Lady. Okay, all right, Lady. Well, yes, our Youth Empowerment Solutions is the advocacy closest to your heart. So how do you think young people nowadays should turn every no into a yes to make their lives more empowering every day?
Okay, that's actually one of the questions I've prepared to answer. So, This is not a new thing for me to say. I've been into pageantry for almost 8 years. I've started pageantry at a very young age. And I can say that I became an inspiration to a lot of the younger generations. And I've been an entrepreneur for almost 2 years. And I'm very thankful that this finally opened, or I finally find my purpose. And this is to be an inspiration to the youth, and most especially to the people who think that their life just ended just because they weren't able to finish or they weren't able to get a degree. For me, I'm standing here in front of you in behalf of the Youth Employment Solutions beneficiaries, and I'm so happy that one of them is here with me. Kay Ate Marichel. Hi, Ate Marichel. She wasn't able to finish her college degree, but I'm so thankful and grateful to God because I became an inspiration for her. Thank you so much.
Thank you, lady. Well, I'm sure you're an inspiration to many. Maraming salamat. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have candidate number 8, Miss Iloilo Province, Justina Jade Chan.
How to turn the nose to yes.
Hi, Miss Chu.
Sinabi niya, yung hinanda niya.
Alright, so Maruyog, I hope I'm saying that accurately, is your advocacy that resurfaces the plight of our indigenous peoples and also reopens our eyes to what more we can do to help them. How do you think we can do better in protecting the indigenous people?
I do believe that education is very powerful, and also through social media marketing. I'm a marketing graduate, and I believe in the power of connecting to other people. Since 2019, I started connecting with the indigenous people, and one time when it was my time to go home, doing immersions in their community, an old indigenous woman told me with sadness in her eyes, ipaglaban mo ang karapatan ng IP. So at that time, I promised with all my heart and with all the might that I have that I will do something for them. And that is why I created Maruyog, an Ati word which means beautiful. This advocacy aims to empower, educate, and elevate the indigenous people towards and through sustainable livelihood. Because when I look into their eyes, I see someone who deserves more. These indigenous people are underprivileged and they're not given equal opportunities and their voices have been silenced. So I think it is due time to change that. This is the right time for radical change. And through my Rurog, I envision a world where the culture bearer stand in hand with the people towards a more progressive country and world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Chu. Grabe mga sagot nila, no? You guys have very hard questions, but you're answering them very well. Alright, next up, we have candidate number 1, Miss Marinduque, Symone Nadine Bornilia. Hi, Symone. All right, Symone, you're quoted with saying, kindness should not be discriminatory. If given a chance, how will you lobby this advocacy to the incoming administration to support the 50 para sa Golden Lonas?
Well, I think that I'm actually currently doing that right now, which is vying for one of the crowns here in Miss World Philippines. I think that this competition alone will give me such a great platform to promote my advocacy. Because again, I have joined a few pageants before, but in Miss World Philippines, that's where I really found my purpose. That's where I really put focus on the certain sector that I want to help out, and that was the people at the Home for the Golden Days. And I do encourage everyone to please watch my BUAP video, because I'm sure that if you were to see it and you were to get inspired to help them, because it is an attainable goal, then we would collectively help erect and construct a permanent center so that they won't have to worry about paying next month's rent or having to beg for alms for food. So really, I do encourage everyone to help me do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Symone. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have candidate number 2, Miss Rojas Capiz Erica Vincolado. The stage gets slippery. I've fallen a couple of times as well during my pageant, so no worries. Now, Erica, your Batang Kapisnon for Green Capis is a movement that could be replicated around the country. How can you engage more young people away from their cell phones into getting their hands dirty to becoming eco-warriors?
Well, I don't think we necessarily need to encourage them or discourage them from using their cell phones. Rather, maybe we could encourage them to use their cell phones for a good cause. A lot of the reasons why a lot of people are more aware of the environmental issues that plague our world today is because of social media. For example, the NASA scientists protesting went viral, and that encouraged more people to be more sustainable in how they live, and to encourage governments to adopt more sustainable practices as well. So I think that rather than telling people, oh, you shouldn't use your cell phones, you should just plant more trees and not shop at H&M, we should use social media to encourage them to spread information and educate others on its importance. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good point because everybody has social media anyway, right?
Yeah, so go follow me, Erica.Vincolado on Instagram.
Ako na din at I am Laura Lima. O, sige nga. Okay, thank you very much, Erica.
Thank you.
Alright guys, moving on, we have candidate number 25, Miss Negros Occidental, Gwendolyn Furniol. Hi Gwen. Alright, so this is very interesting. Your mother actually chose to leave the Philippines for a life in France, but you did the opposite. You left France for a beautiful life here in the Philippines. How does this paradox of life shape your Beauty with a Purpose project with the ERDA Foundation?
Thank you so much for that question. That's a great question. So that is right. I moved to the Philippines at the age of 18. I was all alone. But my mother is my strength. And growing up in Europe, I was very open-minded. Moving to the Philippines, I could see the generous hearts of the Filipinos. And I told myself, this is my home. I want to stay here. That is why I dedicated my life to helping ERDA Foundation. And I think, I'm pretty sure we have around 30 volunteers from ERDA Foundation in the audience. I'm so happy you guys are here today because I'm doing this for you. You are my strength. Education is a right and not a privilege.
Thank you very much, Gwen. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we have candidate number 23, Miss Taguig City, Charissa S. Pariago. Hi, Charissa. So this is your question. With Miss World Philippines as your platform, how can you turn your baby steps at Miss Stateville community into big leaps as we prepare from blended learning to face-to-face schooling?
One of the things I always tell the children that I work with, my little Andrea, Sophia, and the thousands of others that we've been able to touch, is that what you gain from this project does not stay with you. You have to create a legacy and be role models for little girls that grew up in situations like you, that want to be rock stars and scientists and musicians like you. Because I was a little girl like that too. And I had a kindergarten teacher that constantly told me that I could take over the world if I had enough resources, if I had someone that believed in me. And what I want to do with my Baby Steps program, in order to turn them into big leaps, like you said, is to be able to increase the amount of resources that we give to our children. Especially with the pandemic, we have seen firsthand that the education is a right to everyone, but is not accessible to everyone. Every child does not have a laptop or Wi-Fi, but they do have the right to learn. And with the platform of Miss World Philippines, I want to expand that to ensure that not only am I touching the hearts of every kid in Manila, but every kid in the world. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Taguig, and best of luck with your Beauty with a Purpose. Next up, everyone, we have candidate number 17, Miss Paranaque Ingrid Santa Maria. This is your question. So your Beauty with a Purpose narrative is taken from a place of privilege to a place of charity. How do you intend to influence more people to give more to those who have less, especially to 4 million out-of-school youth displaced by the pandemic?
Well, I'm somebody who was privileged enough to garner an education because I didn't have to worry about the circumstances around me. There are 4 million out-of-school youth because they can't control their circumstances, and those circumstances, they don't have the resources, they don't have the ways to provide for online learning. And once you have an education, it sets you free. You are able to be free to pursue your personal goals. And with that freedom, you are able to help others. Because I have an education, I want to be inspired, I want to be educated, and I want to help others be educated as well. And I call on everybody to be able to use that love, use that power that you have, use that knowledge you have, to be able to uplift others so that as a society, we will all be able to grow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Parañaque. All right, these questions are hard. You guys are doing so great. They weren't as hard during my year. So next up, we have candidate number 20, Miss Makati City, Ashley Montenegro. All right, Ashley, so I'm told you have a passion for embracing challenges, whether on a personal level or a social level. So how can you relate to the everyday challenge of the ordinary Filipino, and how can you help alleviate this state?
The COVID pandemic has highlighted many hardships we've all had to go through to all kinds of degrees. Personally, my income was affected, my education was affected, as well as the relationships with those I love dearly. But through this, we persevere through those challenges. Through our passion for the things that we care most about, through our hope for that light at the end of the tunnel, we move forward. So I encourage people to find that passion and let it burn a fire within you, and let that fire become your light at the end of the tunnel. Because when we self-empower ourselves, we are capable of overcoming any calamity, embracing any challenge, and attaining anything in this beautiful world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Makati. More power to our passions. Next up, we have candidate number 21, Paula Ortega. Hi, Paula. You're Gabby's sister, right? Okay, she joined. Oh, she's here. Hi. She joined my batch in Miss World Philippines as well. All right, Pao. So working with children with special needs, do you think that our government is doing enough to address the needs of these children?
Well, I have talked to many professionals here in the Philippines, and I have talked with families who have children with special needs, and they all address the lack of understanding and information that there is out there. And that is what I want to promote. I've been working with a very known Filipino pediatrician. His name is Dr. De Malanta, which I say hi from here. And we want to bring safe places for these children to have their proper tools and educational tools that every child deserves. I want to create awareness on these children because they deserve it. Every child deserves to be empowered, encouraged, and be part of our society. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paula.
You look beautiful.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, up next, we have candidate number 7, Miss Carmona, Cavite, Erica Christensen. Hi, Erica. Okay, so I could relate to you on this one because animal welfare is one of your advocacies here in Miss World Philippines.
That's right.
So do you think that we need more legislation, and in what aspect can we humanely extend more care for the animals around us?
Yes, definitely. I do understand that there is existing legislation when it comes to protecting our animals here in the Philippines, but I've always believed that we can do more. I think a lot of people really undermine the importance of taking care of our animals, because when our animals are healthy, then us humans will be healthy too. I'll give an example. The recent monkeypox virus has actually had such a great outbreak all over the world, and it's actually a zoonotic disease. It came from sick animals, and all of these zoonotic diseases can definitely be prevented if we can only take care of our animals and give respect to them. Because it's not only a question of morale as stewards of our earth, but as co-inhabitants of this planet, it is our duty to take care of them much as we take care of us humans as well. And that is something that I would love to bring into the world stage. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Erica. I would have to agree. Next up, we have candidate number 31, Miss Misamis Oriental, Natasha Leah Bautista. All right, Leah, so your advocacy is Babae Bounce Back, is that correct? Now that advocacy is both timely and heartwarming, not to mention a call for action for women in your community and the country as a whole. What Filipino value takes front and center in this worthwhile project?
As an exceptionally empowered Filipina, I always remind myself to cherish Filipino values, to define the identity of us Filipino. And Babae Bounce Back touch our value of resilience against all odds, especially as women. We remain resilient against all odds. And that is something that I am very proud of, to uplift women in my advocacy. Thank you.
All right, a round of applause for Bea, everyone. Next up, we have candidate number 26, Miss Bacoor, Cavite, Aliana Joaquin. Hi, Aliana. All right, so violence against children, especially the abandoned and orphaned, remains a pervasive social problem today, and we're very glad to hear that you're elevating it for national discourse in your chosen advocacy. How do you feel about the recently passed law that recognizes and protects foundlings?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Miss Laura. I'm the type of person that strongly believes in living life that is thoughtful and purposeful. And I'm very grateful that I was able to use this platform to foster my advocacy. I admire the government for passing that law, but we can do more. Perhaps we could promote and help me promote the children with conflicts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well, candidate. Moving forward, everyone, we have candidate number 24, Miss Las Piñas City, Allison Black. Hi, Allison. Okay, I'm told a girl boss is in the house tonight. Everybody describes you as a girl boss because your project, Girl Boss, is very innovative. But why do you think is entrepreneurship still an uphill climb for women in the Philippines today?
Entrepreneurship is not something we teach our women from when they're young. And that's something I want to address with my Girl Boss project. I am a business graduate, and I've seen how women are not treated the same in business, and how women are treated in a sense that they have to get married to earn their own money. They don't have control over their own lives. They don't have autonomy. And with Girl Boss, I want the youth to realize that this is possible. There's a life where they can pilot their future, their destinies, and people strive for what they think is possible. So let's make our girls believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Next up, we have candidate number 9, Miss Lipa, Batangas, Kayla Adriade Tiongson. Hi, Kayla. All right, so your Beauty with a Purpose project is called the Wooden Spoon Project. What have you realized about global hunger as a social and political problem?
I am very lucky to be talking about this project in front of you all today, because food has continued to be a luxury throughout this world, even if malnutrition has existed for a long time. There are several programs, political programs that has been happening, including the Philippine Plan of Action and several other programs of non-governmental organizations, and yet malnutrition still exists. So I created the Wooden Spoon Project to show everyone that even a small college student like me can build programs that build upon nutrition, that fight malnutrition on children and other Filipino families across the globe, so that we together would finally end malnutrition and no child will ever be hungry and food will never be a luxury anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Justine. Next up, everyone, we have candidate number 18, Miss Marikina, Justine Beatrice Felizarta. Hi, Justine. Okay, I remember you. We trained together before, right? All right, okay. So, Justine, your Center for Migrant Advocacy is inspiring as it focuses on the many facets of the plight of our overseas Filipino workers. Do you envision a future where no family will ever need to be separated because of the necessary search for greener pastures outside of the Philippines?
Good evening, everybody. I considered myself very lucky because I had such hard-working OFW parents, but I wasn't left behind. And when I started volunteering for Center for Migrant Advocacy, whom promotes rights for overseas abroad and here, one of their problems was homesick and also being away from their families. But they do this because they want to put a roof over their head, quality education, and make sure they have a brighter opportunity and future for them. So I do hope that we would have more opportunities for them here in the Philippines through capacity building workshops and also helping them with their mental health, and that will definitely help them stay here with their families more. Thank you.
Thank you, Justine. Of course, our OFWs are definitely our modern-day heroes.
Exactly.
Next up, we have candidate number 34, Miss Aklan Beatrice McLellan. Hi, Beatrice. All right, so cervical cancer is said to be the second most deadly cancer that women all over the world have to fight against. In facing this women's health issue, how can we get more men involved in your advocacy of cervical cancer prevention?
Actually, first I would like to say it's really detrimental that this issue in our country is really overlooked and not much talked about. And one of the reasons why I joined a beauty pageant like Miss World organization is because my audience are not only women, it's also men and of all genders. And not only would I like to target the men, but all of genders, all of the people of the rest of the world to listen to this issue. As if I had more time to talk about it, I would. And I think that's one of the most important things that I can do as a Miss World candidate and off stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Aklan. Only 2 candidates left. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have candidate number 12. Miss Quezon Province, Ange May Manipol. Hi, Ange. Is that Ange? Ange? Angie, okay. Angie, from farm to table, this is how you characterize your advocacy on agriculture. How do you think we can harmonize the importation of food and improving our own farmers' productive capabilities?
Thank you for that question. As an agricultural extension worker, I see the real problems that our farmers is facing right now. That is the decreasing number of youth involved in this profession. Because sadly, the average age of farmers is already at 57. If the old age of farmers continues, there will be insufficient numbers of farmers in the next 10 years. And to be able to limit the importation of agricultural products, we must inspire the youth, transform farmer, and sustain development. Because my mission is to educate and equip our farmers to do new technology we have today. And I know, together with the Miss World organization, I know that I could reach a larger platform, especially the youth, to venture in this kind of business and profession. And I know, together with the agricultural sector, we can make a better world without hunger. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie, and more power to our farmers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come for our final contestant for the evening. Please welcome candidate number 35, Miss Zambales Patricia Macee. All right, Patricia. So your Beauty with a Purpose project affirms that poverty is not a hindrance for us to reach for our stars. How are you going to make your project more inclusive so that all the young dreamers will get a chance in life?
As a girl who grew up in a poor and broken family, that is the biggest obstacle that I have been facing in my life. During my childhood experience, I didn't experience a lot. A lot of things has been deprived, but the education is not. Because my mother believed that this is the only treasure that I can treasure for the rest of my life. And I want to let the youth know that whatever situation we are in life, we can rise above our situation if we have the courage, if we have the power. We just have to find the power that comes from our heart. And I want to let the youth know that we can break any walls. We can do more and we can be more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Zambales. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for our top 20 finalists?